All right. Hello, everyone. So we had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we are not live, obviously, but super excited to be here with you in this capacity. And I've got myself and Elise on the other end of this that you'll hear from in just a second. But I'm so excited that you even are listening to learn a little bit more about our 28-day program, specifically focused on nutrition and helping you reset your body and upping your metabolism and feeling better and feeling more energy. I'm going to get into a little bit about, I know not everyone on here knows who I am. So my name is Amanda, and I am an area manager with Arbonne. And I fell in love with this company about 3 years ago, this April. And I am a fitness instructor, so I teach bar, and I'm also a dancer. I grew up dancing, and I danced on cruise ships and did a lot of odd jobs around the US. And then my husband, I got married and we moved to Orlando. That's where I'm staying put for now, and fell in love with the fitness industry. So through my bar world, which I teach bar, if anybody's familiar with that, I met Amy, who is my direct upline. She's a national vice president with the company, and all that means is she's at the top level. Okay, so she introduced me to this business. I had a lot of hesitations and fears at the beginning, but I quickly got over those, and I thought, you know what, if she's willing to pour into me and hold my hand and teach me how to do this, then I am more than willing, because I was super passionate about having a platform to educate people on topics like what we're going to cover today. Also, something that we're not really going to touch on today, but that was really important to me, was the skincare industry. And if some of you are familiar with the fact that your skin is the largest organ in your body. And so we're constantly eliminating toxins, and we're constantly pulling things in all day through our skin. So it's so important to pay attention to the products that you're putting on, because anything that hits your skin is absorbed into your bloodstream within 26 seconds. So with that said, I quickly learned that this business was so much more than just a skincare company or even a nutrition company, but it was a vehicle to take me where I want to, with, relieving my husband of a 10-hour-a-day job and allowing him to do what he wants, and being able to stay at home with Wyatt, my 5-month-old son, who is just the light of my life. And it gives me the flexibility, which I love. I'm all about flexibility. And just the opportunity to pay it forward. Everyone in this company is just incredible, huge servant hearts. So also just know that if anyone is interested as far as doing this as a business, you can always come chat with us. And I'm going to let Elise, just so you guys know who you're hearing from in a second, I'm going to let her talk for a second and introduce herself. And so take it away, Elise.
All right. Let's see. I met Amanda actually in Florida. We taught bar together, so she mentioned the bar. Right. And yeah, that's how we met. And after I moved back to Michigan to be a little closer with my family, Amanda had contacted me because she got involved with Arbonne, and I was really interested in everything that they have to offer, because it's just everything in products that I always look for, because vegan health and wellness is so important to me, and finding cruelty-free makeup and skincare, as well as like nutrition lines, it has always been really important to me. And it's always been something that I've strived for, and cutting out animal products and using as little of that as possible has always been something that I've looked for. So it was just kind of everything I was looking for all in one company. And then the more Amanda told me about it, the more I was just like, wow, this is so fits with my lifestyle. And I thought, like, if these were products that I want to use, why wouldn't I want to share them with everybody? Because I talk about these things all the time to people, to my friends, to everybody I love. So, why don't I just share them with them all the time? So that it just has, like she said, become a platform for just expanding the health and wellness thing. And like, when that's something you already love so much, it's just so easy, and it fits right in, and it's made me like so excited. And I just started at the beginning of February, and it's just, I don't know, it's been amazing. Like, I never thought I'd be somebody who would want to even have my own business, you know, and I was like really scared about it. But Amanda was like, well, I'll be here for you, and you have so much support, and like you do as much of it as you want or as little of it as you want. And that was such a comforting thing to hear. So I'm so glad that, you know, it was my friend that approached me about it, and I didn't feel pressured or scared, and it was just such a good experience and such good timing. It came at the perfect time in my life. So I just feel it gives me something to do too in the day, you know, like when I would just sit around and be like, what else could I be doing? Because, you know, you only teach a fitness class for an hour. You only reach out to people for an hour of their day. So now I just feel like I'm constantly connecting with them, because you get to check in with people and see how they're doing and check up, or they'll text you and they'll be like, hey, I love how my skin is changing or how my body's feeling. And just getting messages like that in the middle of the day is like so uplifting. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love hearing that. So it's been really fun. And I've only been doing it for 2 months, and Amanda's been doing it much longer. But even in the first 2 months, like, so it's a little bit of my story.
Awesome. Okay, and you'll hear from Elise again in just a second, because she is currently going through the 28-day program, which we're going to talk about right now. So just a tiny bit of background for those of you who aren't familiar with Arbonne. We originated clear back in 1980. So we're actually a 37-year-old company, and still acting like a ground floor or hitting the ground floor and running. So we're acting like a startup company. We're just now starting our global expansion, which is super exciting for all of us who are in the industry. But I fell in love with our standards. So Arbonne is, we follow the European directive, which I'm not sure how familiar you are with the European Union, but they ban a lot more products and ingredients, I should say, than the US does. So much higher standards, which is why we follow them. We have a strong Swiss heritage. We're actually made our home office in America is in Irvine, California. So that's where everything is out of. So I'm going to throw off, I'm total facts girl. So I love the nitty gritty details of things. And then I'm going to tell you the why behind it. But so I'm just going to kind of spit off a few facts for you. But in general, as Americans, we overconsume foods, but yet we're extremely undernourished. And I could sorry, I'm going to spit over my words here. And I get super passionate about this, and I'm going to try to keep it quick. That's why I'm going to try to use some of my notes, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I do, before I even get into that, let me just tell you what exactly this program is. So the goal of this 28 days to healthy living challenge is to get your body to the lowest acidic levels possible by eating high alkaline foods, and eliminating those acidic, addictive, allergenic foods that we eat and consume every single day, because we are literally walking around, our bodies are polluted, literally. So I believe everyone should detox at least once in their life, and you really don't understand how good your body can feel until you allow those things to be out of it. So that's kind of what I'm going to touch on right now, but just a few facts. So in 1980, there were actually 0 cases of type 2 diabetes in children. And this is something that I'm super passionate about, is educating children as well, because they're our future, and we are not serving them if we're not teaching them proper nutrition and diet. In 2010, there were 57,636 cases. So we literally now have 9 and 10-year-olds dying of heart attacks and strokes, no joke. So this is, and it's an epidemic. Excuse me. So that's something that I really want to educate people on, because it starts when they're little, right? So we form their habits, and it hits home more now than ever because I have Wyatt, my son. So our bodies reflect what we eat, which is actually 80% of it. 10% is genetics and 10% is exercise, which as a fitness instructor, I preach about that, because I'm like, you can't out-exercise a bad diet. It just doesn't happen. So if you're familiar, toxins are anything that can't be used as energy in your body. So the food we eat is either fuel or poison. And if you've heard of the term fatty liver, it means it just is when our liver becomes fatty, when it can't handle the influx of toxins. and it can't filter them properly. So our bodies go into protective mode, and then they begin to pull toxins away from vital organs, and they store those toxins as fat cells. So until you release toxins, your fat cells are not going to, they're not going to go out of your body. So that's what we teach about in this 20-day program, is literally releasing toxins out of your body. So let me just touch on, I don't know, Elise, tell me if this is backwards. This is backwards? Nope. Okay. So what I want to talk about, hopefully you can hear me as I'm talking behind this paper. Okay, so I am huge on educating people about this. So this is called nutritional rebalancing. This is what we really teach on. Now, this person over here, so you can see they're overweight, and all these little dots represent toxins, right? So what do? They say, oh, I need to lose weight, so I'm going to calorie cut, I'm going to over-exercise. And scientifically, they lose weight, right? But they become more toxic dense. So then they rebound because it's toxic overload, and it triggers your body's, it holds on to fat basically. So this is the yo-yo diet, right? People just rebound and they go back and forth in this little circle. So what we teach is cellular cleansing by clean eating. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more in detail about that. And this is what's going to happen when your body is the weight, or when you shed those toxins, and your body's going to be at the weight that it needs to be at. So what do we want to do in order to rebalance? And I'm so sorry if you can hear my baby in the background. I don't know if you can, but it's loud to me, so hopefully it's not loud to you. So the first thing that we're going to do is eat clean. We're going to teach you to eat clean. You're basically hitting the easy button when you do our 28 Days to Healthy Living program. We give you your grocery shopping lists, your recipes. You get put in a private Facebook group where you get the support of everyone. And I know Elise, that's been one of her favorite things, so I'm going to let her touch on that. But we're going to eat man food we're talking about man food versus God food, right? So man food, think processed, heavy chemicals, preservatives, shelves, like those are the kinds of things we're thinking when we think man food, like processed and man-made. So whole foods, God foods, however you want to refer to them, they're crops that aren't treated with GMOs. Think grass-fed beef with no hormones, antibiotics, etc. Free-range chicken, turkey, eggs, organic fruits and vegetables. So that is what we are teaching on in the 28-day program. And also another part of the eating clean is eating good carbohydrates or complex carbs. And if anybody's interested, I can always expand a little bit more. If you want to have a conversation with me or a phone conversation, whatever, I'm happy to do that. So the second thing we need to do is eliminate what I was saying is the allergenic, addictive, or acidic foods. So they're all causing acid in the body, and we're trying to balance our pH levels. So that's why we want to avoid those. So we're also going to balance your blood sugar. So you want to make sure we teach about eating every 3 to 4 hours. There's a lot of important things that go into balancing your blood sugar and getting enough fiber, all kinds of stuff. So what do you need to do to eliminate from your diet? So we encourage you to do this for the 28 days. This is everybody's favorite part, as I talk about the heavy hitters. One is refined sugar. So that's probably number one. And honestly, it's a drug, period. It kills. It's so addictive. In a study that it's shown that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. So it leaches our body of precious vitamins and minerals, and it increases insulin, and insulin increases fat storage, actually. So that's another reason we want to stay away from it. Artificial sweeteners, literally a neurotoxin, which is a poison. So if there's anything I would say to get rid of, it's artificial sweeteners. We don't use any in our products, but just know that aspartame is in so many things, and it is a poison. And some things include headaches. I know I personally get a headache almost instantly if I eat aspartame or forget anything with aspartame in it, because my body's been rid of it for so long. Migraines, seizures, joint pain, depression, fibromyalgia, all kinds of stuff that this can cause. Also, processed foods. So there's food and there's junk, right? There isn't junk food. Processed foods do not serve your body. And one rule of thumb is, can you pronounce it? If you can't, you probably shouldn't be eating it. So dairy, this is always a tough one for people to swallow, because dairy, contrary to what they pump in our brains about calcium and it does the body good, it's actually highly acidic in your body. So any dairy product, you're actually not reaping the calcium benefits from, especially milk. It's laden with antibiotics and sugar, and there's very little calcium in the milk today. So you can get twice as much calcium from a cup of broccoli or leafy greens than you can from a cup of milk. So, and just an interesting little statistic, the countries with the highest dairy consumption have the highest percentage of osteoporosis and hip fractures. So great alternative is almond milk. I love almond milk. Just find something you like. Coconut, there's even hemp milk. There's all kinds of stuff. So, and there's some that combine almond and coconut. Okay, so another heavy hitter is whey. So if there's anything I would say get rid of, it's your whey protein. This is another like huge marketing scheme that they pump, especially specifically kind of targeting male, that they have to have whey protein in order to bulk up, in order to build muscle. No, your body needs to be able to digest and absorb the protein. So if you think about it, so whey is actually, it's a derivative of dairy. It used to be not even deemed for human consumption, right? So there's an issue there. So then they found a way to process it and market it to where it's like this awesome protein, right? And it's thought to help build muscle, but it's, again, difficult to digest, and it's actually linked to digestive disease. So I always tell people, vegan protein is much more effective in building lean muscle. So that's another thing that you want to look for. And then also, not even bodybuilders, but most people want a complete amino acid profile. So ours includes all 3 amino acids. Okay, another one is gluten. And if you're not familiar, I think everybody knows what gluten is now, and that there's a gluten-free craze, but really, what is it? So it's a sticky protein that's found in wheat, and it gives our favorite foods that special touch. So it's a texture thing more so. And it's estimated now that 50% of our population has some sort of intolerance to gluten. Maybe not celiac, but they have an intolerance to gluten. And that is modernized wheat for you. Honestly, it's just how things have changed over the last several decades. It's not the same wheat that our ancestors grew up on, right? So our bodies have a very difficult time processing it. Soy is actually one of the last ones I'm going to talk about. It's a highly processed crop, and in fact, 90% of the soy crops are genetically modified in the U.S. So soy is very acidic, and it's also difficult to digest and highly inflammatory, which, again, inflammation is virtually at the basis of all disease. So modern medicine has quickly identified that the contributing factors to 2 of the most deadly diseases, cancers and heart disease, are all derived from an inflamed state. So your body is acidic, right? So that's what we're trying to get at right now. Soy also mimics estrogen, which is a female hormone. So if you think your body's thinking it's creating more estrogen, and then the increase of estrogen is actually breeding ground for breast cancers. So that's another reason we're super passionate about educating people on that, just to become more aware. So this is like the real kicker that nobody ever wants to hear. So we do recommend, to get the best results, getting rid of coffee and alcohol for the 28 days. Both are highly acidic, which obviously we're trying to prevent, and particularly coffee will cause your energy to spike and then crash. So most of the people who are addicted to coffee before this program starts actually have more energy not drinking coffee. And I kid you not, I've had I would venture to say hundreds of people that are like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't give up coffee. And then they call me and they're like, this is awesome. I have so much energy. So that's another cool perk about that. So the last thing that we do, we're going to replace supplement and support with Arbonne products. And I will go through those in just a second. And I'm going to let Elise take it over for a second. And I'm going to let her tell you about her journey with the 28-day program, because she's been super excited about that. So go for it, Elise.
All right, cool. Yeah, I just started the 28-day program. I'm actually on week 3 now, which it's been just a really exciting journey. And actually, when Amanda talked to me about Arbonne, this was one of the things I was the most excited about, because nutrition gets me really excited, like just like Amanda. Like, I feel like I could talk about it all day and just go on and on about it. So I was really, really hyped to try this. So I'm so glad that I'm getting to do it right now, and also getting to talk about it and listen to Amanda talk about it. So it's just really exciting to share with everybody. Like she kind of mentioned, something that I was kind of surprised about actually was how excited I am about the Facebook group and the support, because we always mention like, you have the Facebook group as a support and an education system, you know, and I was just kind of mentioning that to people, that actually experiencing the support and having people to kind of like tune into and listen to, and, you know, have them there when maybe you're not feeling so good, or, you know, or you're feeling really good and you want to share something, that's also really motivational. So that has just kind of been a really pleasant surprise, I guess. I didn't really consider it, and it's just something that's really lovely to have. And also, something that's been a really big game changer for me doing this detox is I have a lot of food allergies, and anybody who knows me knows that. And I also have adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue. So I'm constantly tired, and I teach fitness classes, and a lot of times like right after my class I have to come home and take like a 2-hour nap, because my whole body like hurts, because it's just like my muscles get exhausted. And I actually haven't felt that for the last 3 weeks, which has been like amazing. Like I take in adrenal support, so I'm sure that that helps as well. But eating these like cleansing foods and just being off of caffeine and sugars, like she just mentioned, it makes a huge difference. Like I already don't consume gluten or dairy, but just adding those extra things that like maybe, you know, once in a while I was consuming, but not consuming them at all, it really does like just make you feel so much better. And I don't know, it's just like this gives you that 28 days to see like how good you can really feel, you know. And if you just want to do it for 28 days, you only have to do it for 28 days and you never have to do it again, you know. So it's just to see how good you can feel, you know. And like she said, maybe you just want to do it once in your life, you know, or maybe you want to do it once, you know, every few months, or you want to do it once a year, you know. So but that's totally up to you. And it's just kind of cool to see how good like your body can really feel. And that's been like a huge thing for me. So, and it's also just been really cool to experiment with all our amazing products that we have, and like make fun recipes with them. Like I already make a lot of these kind of foods because I already eat like, or I try to eat whole foods mostly, but you know, I so that's been really fun, like mixing up protein brownies with our protein mix, or like making a protein pudding dip for like your berries and whatnot. And it's very cool that you actually get to eat foods on this detox too, because a lot of people hear cleanse or detox, at least this is what I always thought, and it means like you don't get to eat. But this is very cool because you do, and there's a specific focus on the fact that that's actually really important. Like they make sure that you're consuming enough food and enough calories to not crash your metabolism, so that once you stop doing the very strict cleansing process, you're still going to maintain that healthy weight because you didn't destroy your metabolism, or you know, you just trained your body to eat healthy and to start craving healthy foods. So I think that that's something that's really, really important. And it's something that's personally important to me as well in a process that I wouldn't like recommend to people if it didn't do that, because it makes me so uncomfortable hearing about diets or cleanses that are focused all on calorie counting and restriction, and it just, I know that that won't last for people, and it's a quick fix, it's a band-aid to something that is so much deeper. So I like that this is all about healing, and it's not just about weight loss, it's about healing your insides. And I've also dealt with having like high sugar and yeast content in my gut. Like I've had candida overgrowth in my gut, which is like too much sugars in your gut. So I've had to work to fix that before. And like our probiotic is something that I'll buy for the rest of my life, because it's so strong and it cuts right through the like high gastric juices that you have in your stomach, and you don't find that stuff on the shelves. Like I've used, drugstore products and they don't really seem to change anything, but this is so much different. So it's really like it heals you from the inside, which by turn heals so many other things. So it's a program that like I'm behind. So I just love sharing about it with people, but I could talk for probably like 3 hours. So I'll turn it back over to Amanda and let her share a little bit more.
Yes, totally. Thank you, Elise. And that was awesome to hear from, especially somebody who's going through it as we speak. And I've done it several times. I'm actually getting ready to jump back on it again. So if anybody wants to join me in our next group, we've got one starting next Monday. So just let us know. But I want to get into just touch on the products for a second. But I just want you guys to know, we literally, and I wouldn't have gotten in this business had I not thought this, but we have the best products on the market. The products are easy to use. If you ever struggle with being healthy, like you don't have time to be healthy, like this is your jam, because not only are you hitting the easy button with our program, because you're getting your grocery shopping list, you're getting your recipes that are awesome and they're easy and they're quick, but you're also getting these supplements that are going to fill you up nutritionally and nourish your body. They're going to help detoxify your system. They're going to help you absorb nutrients, kind of like what she was talking about with the Digestion Plus, I'll get into in a second. Stabilize your energy. It's going to help your organs work together to work at their optimal level. So I feel like any amount of money is worth that to get your body back at its best self, right? So our protein powder, okay, so we've got 2 different options. We've got chocolate and vanilla. So our chocolate, or they both, chocolate and vanilla, they have 20 grams of protein, and it comes from yellow split pea, brown rice, and cranberry protein, which also creates a complete amino acid profile, which is awesome for muscle recovery and helps repair the muscle. We have fizz sticks, which are amazing. These are a great little source of energy, especially for coffee drinkers, soda drinkers, anything like that. And they're not acidic level, or not synthetic caffeine. So they come from a natural source of energy. So the sources are guarana and green tea. They're also alkaline forming and promotes proper pH balance, which is super important in the body. And they're actually only 13 calories. So the next thing I want to talk about is the fiber boost, which I should be holding these up for you guys, but I'm not. So if you want to see the products, I'm actually going to post a picture. That's why I'm not doing it right now. But the daily fiber boost, the average American consumes less than 4 grams of fiber per day, and the recommended intake is 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day. So you can see the average American diet is far under the recommended intake. So if you change nothing else about your diet, if you have weight to lose, and all you got was a recommended daily intake of fiber, you would lose 9.5 pounds in a year just from getting enough fiber. So fiber is actually a sponge for toxins. So a lot of people think, oh, I don't need fiber. I go to the restroom or whatever, I don't have issues. But it's actually way more important than just for that purpose. It, pulls sugar and toxins from your digestive tract. So it's actually odorless and textureless as well. As it doesn't taste, so you can add it into anything. We also have a 7-day body cleanse, which is added on week 3, with the idea that week 3, your body has already shed a lot of the toxins, and it's going to be a much more gentle form of elimination of heavy metals and just more toxins that help support the liver, colon, kidneys, and digestive tract. So I don't think I said this earlier, but our bodies eliminate toxins through 5 major ways. So our kidneys, liver, colon, and our intestines and our skin. Like I did say that earlier. So the liver has over 500 functions. It's our primary detoxifier. Our organs need a tune-up along with proper maintenance so they can perform optimally. But actually, I'm going to skip. I'm using my notes so that I don't get off on tangents, which I already have a couple times. So, so the daily detox tea, and Elise knows that I do that a lot. The daily detox tea is also a super important function. It plays a big role throughout this 28-day process, and it's a great replacement for coffees or black teas, coffee, sodas, high sugar fruit juices, whatever you drink. First of all, this is going to regulate your cholesterol. It's going to help balance your blood sugar, and it also promotes weight loss. So it's actually a really healing and cleansing form of herbs for your liver and your kidneys. And you can drink it hot or cold. The last thing I'm going to talk about is Digestion Plus, and this is one of the most amazing products that Arbonne carries. And I always say we could create a business just off of this product. It contains prebiotics, probiotics, and 11 digestive enzymes that promote digestion and nutrient upgrade. So if anybody has ever been on an antibiotic in their life, you need to take a probiotic, because what antibiotics do is they literally just wipe everything out. So that's including the good bacteria, and you want to replace that. So the only way that you can replace that is by a probiotic. So probiotics and prebiotics play a different role, which I can go into that. Again, I'm running low on time, and I just want to get through these last couple of things. But I do want you to know that 80% of our immune system is in our gut, right? So it's so important to keep good gut health. Also, the majority of our serotonin is also in our gut, and is responsible for mood, appetite, sleep, memory, very important functions, right? So those are kind of that's kind of the rundown, I would say, of our 28 days healthy living program. And it really is an incredible way to reset your body and to really grab a hold of how you should feel, how your body's supposed to function. You should be energetic every day when you wake up. You shouldn't be addicted to caffeine to get your day going. So I'm glad Elise said that earlier, it's not just about weight loss. And I hardly ever even talk about weight loss, because if you've had any of these symptoms, and I'm just going to name a few: bloating, anger issues, brain fog, constipation, fatty liver, indigestion, joint pain, muscle aches, skin rashes, acid reflux, dark circles under the eyes, fibromyalgia, inflammation, itchy skin, pot belly, slow digestion, acne, autoimmune disease. There's so many reasons that people need a detox. Those are all physical signs of toxicity and imbalance in your body. So just know that it's not about weight loss. The first 2 times I did it, I didn't need to lose weight. I did it to reset my body and to get myself off of sugar, because you can actually crash, and that's what I was doing a lot. I was crashing, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I shouldn't need a nap at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? My son needs naps, but I do not need naps. So I needed to hit the reset button, and that's really what this is. So I would love to answer any questions, and I know Elise would too. We're both super passionate about this, and just let us know any questions you have. And I'm so sorry this didn't work out live. I'll be a little more tech savvy next time. But if you want to post on here, you can. I'm actually going to put a few pictures up if anybody's interested in the next one that starts. We just need to get you going on that ASAP. So just reach out to us with questions, and I will post a few things here on the page. But thanks for tuning in, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. And Elise, was there anything else you wanted to add? Okay, cool. She's muted. So, all right, we will chat with you all soon. Have a good day.